Salty.tv.
Commentating.
Hello and welcome to the Australian versus New Zealand test match. We are here in Sydney, Australia, as the under-24 women's team, Australia, the Stingrays, prepares to go up against New Zealand.
Yeah, so the New Zealand women's team has been taking part in the Australian Under-22 Championships. They've been playing against all of the state Australian women's teams here. They've been having a very good tournament. They've had a lot of pretty one-sided score lines, a lot of big wins. So this will be really good for them to have a nice, tough match against the Australian girls.
Yeah, this is coinciding not only with the Australian Under-22 National Championships, but the Stingrays are having a training camp this weekend. This is their day one today, and this is the end of the day, and they've got day two coming up tomorrow.
It's always exciting for people to play in front of a big crowd. All of the people that have been competing at this Under-22s tournament, they've all stayed around tonight to watch this game between the Australian and New Zealand women. So it's a pretty big crowd. Hopefully it'll be a pretty exciting game.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is going to be very, very high quality. I mean, the Stingrays, I think, will probably be working some things out still. But, you know, this is all part of the process and I guess the eventual goal as well. So we're not expecting to see necessarily them at the absolute peak, absolute world's level refinement. I imagine today they'll be looking to, you know, feel out their connection, sort of build into a few structures, that sort of thing. And, yeah, against, you know, some really quality opposition. There's not, I guess, they wouldn't get a lot more quality opposition other than themselves.
Yeah, for sure. It's always tough coming from Australia and New Zealand. We're very isolated down here compared to all the European teams or the US. They've got a lot of strong competition over there, but it's really tough here for Australian teams to get some good warm-up matches in the lead up to World Championships. So this will be really valuable for both teams here to have this really high-quality game in front of a big crowd, only about a month or so away from the World Championships.
Yeah, we're really getting to the pointy end of the competition now. The teams are going to have to fly, you know, even as much as, yes, we're in Australia and, you know, it is a home tournament for us. For a lot of these athletes, they have to fly several hours just to get to the right side of the country where the tournament is.
The right side. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Stingrays looking super ready on the line here.
Been on the line for a while. New Zealand's finally on the line now, ready to start this game.
Yep, we've got Lucy Alexander and Simon Wood as our game advisors today. We might hear about what they've got to say, but they will be making it as well as two others.
And Steve Baker is one. Not sure who the other one is. Don't Stingray starting on offense, it looks like.
Nice.
I can't really see where the disc is.
Well, they don't have it,
yeah.
so looks like they're starting on offense.
I don't think anyone has the disc. Good start to the game.
Yeah, a lot of, hey, can we have a game disc getting called? You know.
Classic.
Yes, sort of world's level logistics.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, looks like we've got a disc incoming ready to start the game. We've got New Zealand starting on defense and the Stingrays starting on offense. Looks like we've got number 13, Julia Ford, ready with the pull. Just changing the disc over, getting a better one.
Only the finest.
Only the finest.
And we're off. Kat Smith picks up the pull. Moves to Caroline Ma. Finds Kim Spragg on an under. Shoots long, looking for Kath O'Neill. And that is a clinical open for the Stingrays.
That could not have been a better way to start this game for the Stingrays. That was perfect offense. I couldn't have hoped for anything more than that.
Yeah. Kim Spragg, an amazing thrower.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Kim Spragg, actually, earlier this year, was selected as a reserve for the Crocs team for Australia.
Australian
that went
World
to
Games.
the World Game. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a very talented player. I think in her early career, she was more of a receiver type because obviously she's quite tall and quite strong. But then eventually she turned into more of a handler. She handled on the Firetails last year, so she turned herself into a really strong thrower. And then now I think on the Stingrays, she'll be pretty valuable for them as like a primary cutter because you don't really want her to go deep because she's so tall and strong in the air. But then if you let her go under, then she's got those beautiful throws like we saw just then.
Absolutely, an all-round threat. Really experienced as well. Spent some time in America playing with the All-Star Tour in its first year.
Yeah.
It's seen a lot. Speaking of World Games players, Alex Prentice picking up the disc here.
Oh, yes. Alex Prentice with the pull. This is going to be good. Big pull from Prentice coming down. Right on the near sideline. Got a backhand force-on from the Stingrays. Big huck goes up. Ewan chasing. And a great pick-up from Prentice on that deep shot. Quick turn, quick offense transition onto Mihach under. Looking for Prentice again.
Beautiful breaks.
Looking upfield to Zalums. Got a strong deep cut, but it's looked off. Zalums looking for a dump. Prentice goes up the line. That's really strong defense from New Zealand. Good transition.
Yeah, forcing that hard reset. Australia not with a lot of options behind the disc at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
New Zealand playing out of a horror here.
Got Lake with the disc. Throws it to an undercutter. Looking for a dump. Strongly marked by Nez.
That's a beautiful shake and bake. Whoa.
Great grab in the end zone.
Australia get a turn, but can't quite convert on that one. New Zealand with a rocky hold, but a hold nonetheless.
Yeah. I think when you're coming out on D early in the game, all you really want is just a block and to make the offense work a little bit harder for their points. I think that's still a win for the Stingrays there.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a quality, like you just got to get blocks. You get enough blocks, you'll get enough shots at offense, and you'll make it work.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Stingrays quite a large squad, a lot of players.
Yeah, I think Stingrays have about 25 players, which is a little bit bigger than you'd usually have for as an Australian squad. But I think, I don't know, you can't really, if you've got the depth, you can't really go wrong with more players because then you save your legs throughout the tournament and you've got more room to move if you have some injuries. So I think that's a good call from the coaches and selectors there.
Yeah, oh, I agree, I think.
Got New Zealand up with a big pull. Got Vino and Mueller are handling together. Nice grab from Mueller. Big flick hug. That's a classic Mueller throw. She's got an enormous forehand. Puck under it. Oh, Michaela Dunmore takes a huge grab in the end zone.
That is unbelievable. Those are two very, very young players in this team.
Absolutely.
Arvin Mueller with a throw actually will be representing Australia probably at Under-20 Worlds next year.
Yeah. It's a pretty big feat to be selected for an Under-20 and an Under-24 team at the same time. She's a very talented player. Huge ups from Dunmore there. That's what she's best at, though. She's from South Australia. She's so athletic, a really talented player. Really strong in the air. She'll be a main deep target for this Stingrays team.
The Stingrays, another really quick, really good hold. I think it's going to... New Zealand's going to have to sort of work around and see where they can put the pressure on the Australian offense.
Yeah.
I think probably it's going to take them a few points across this game to find where they can build that pressure and where they can sort of find some chinks, I guess, in the Australian system.
Yeah. So we've got Max Kwa with the pull here. Huge pull from Max.
Oh, another beauty. New Zealand centres coming in a split stack here.
Oh,
Holly
unlucky.
Reeve catches the tipped disc. Up to Prentice again. Finds Rosa Wang just outside the end zone. Centers to Prentice. Prentice resets to Reeve, looking around. Shoots the inside. It's just too high.
It's the first block of the game for New Zealand. They'll be pretty pleased with that. Even though it was on their offensive point, it's always nice to get a block.
Yeah. See what they come out with now. Just looks like they're back into a regular horizontal stack. Not quite the pool play they had before.
Strong defense from the Stingrays.
Looks off the shot. Oh,
Great intercept from Prentice.
great read.
I think that was good OE transition from the Stingrays. I think it'll be, it always works well to get the disc moving quickly if you can after you've got a block, but maybe just got a little bit too excited on that last throw there.
Yeah, sort of walking the fine line between not letting a defense time to set up and giving yourself time to set up and know what's going on.
Absolutely. Strong defense again from the Stingrays. They're really locking down on that end zone there. And once again, a little bit too excited.
All right. That's all right. This is Worlds. Yeah, this is what they're trying to iron out here, I guess.
Yeah.
New Zealand looking at these great diamond cuts coming out of the hole.
Mercer getting a big under there. Looking for a handler. Looking for a dump, can't quite get open there.
Oh, great switches on the mark.
There's a pickled, which is perhaps why no one was getting open because everybody stopped moving.
It's hard to get open when you don't move.
A bit of a discussion happening here about whether it affected the play.
Stingray's putting a really great switch on the mark there. Holly Reeve coming off the mark to take the dump cutter.
Yeah.
Really great. Doesn't let much pressure off. You have to reset the stall count, but doesn't give them any options.
Yeah. Looking for a dump, tight defense again. Parsons gets the disc. Looks through to Ing. Looking for a dump again. Stingray's defense really tight. Great grab on the sideline there. Oh, unlucky tip disc. They can back it up. That's a great follow-up from Hoing.
She's been all over it. She's their primary cutter, and she's been just catching and catching and catching.
Yeah, absolutely. Working really hard. Bit more discussion here. I think a foul call looks like it's going to be contested. Oh, that's tough to tell.
Looks like it's retracted as Reeve shoots long, looking for Zalams.
Great read from Zalams, right outside the end zone.
Bit of an impact there.
Oh, that's Lim on the ground. Hopefully she's okay. She looks all right. They're going to want to be patient outside the end zone here. They've got a little bit excited the last couple times, so I think they'll be looking to just work it into the end zone here.
Yeah, as much as they might want to get a quick score, I think they're looking for adaptability and flexibility here in their team.
Yeah. Not really sure what this call's about as well. Looks like whatever it was is retracted though.
Seems like the right outcome to me.
Of course, Al's at the disc right outside the end zone. There's people flooding all around her. Looking for Lim as a dump, gets it off.
Stingrays collapsing into a vertical stack.
Reeve gets to around the back. An unlucky throw across the end zone. I think the wind just pushed it down there.
Yeah, not a bad option looking for Apprentice, but
yeah,
you know, maybe trying to stretch it, look a bit too goal hungry there.
Yeah. So it looks like we've got a leg with the disc, looking for these undercuts coming out of the horror again. Reeve putting on a giant mark, making those throws really difficult. Centers it to Zhang. Looking back to Lake. Great up the line cut, but just a bit of a miss throw. Lim picks up the disc there. And a nice easy goal for the Stingrays.
Yeah, it took them a few times there.
Yeah.
I think the Stingrays' defense is what really needs to be credited there. As much as
absolutely.
they bit chaotic, you know, a few attempts to put it in. New Zealand never really looked like they were threatening to move it much further off that line.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, New Zealand offense is really going to start to see if they can look to get rolling, get some distance. You know, it's hard to make plays and build something if you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
There's not a lot of space to work with, so they're really going to want to get it out of that gridlock. But credit to the Stingrays defense for keeping them locked in tight.
Yeah, really tight defense. I think especially when the disc is on the sideline like that and the mark is either a straight up or a forced middle, it's really difficult to try and generate movement from the cutters because you're always throwing into space where there's always lots of people. You don't ever have that like easy open side throw because the open side is always where there's going to be all of your cutters and all of your defenders. So
Exactly.
I think that forcing straight up ball towards the middle of the field is a really good move from the Stingrays on the sideline there, especially if they can lock down on that open side dump.
That's where Lim picked off that block. So
Yeah,
I think,
absolutely.
The Stingrays, clearly an incredibly athletic team. They're just
definitely.
gonna be backing their defense in here.
Yeah. So we've got a timeout here. I'm not sure who called it, but I'm going to assume it was New Zealand.
If I'm New Zealand here, I call timeout.
Yeah, so I would also. Yeah, as we said, Stingray's defense is looking really strong. So I'd say in this timeout, New Zealand's just talking about maybe how they can generate a bit more movement on offense, maybe a different set. I think maybe the horror's not quite working as well as they would like at the moment. Maybe we'll see a different offensive structure here coming out of this timeout from New Zealand.
Yeah, I really like the horizontal stack. Opens up a lot of deep space for a lot of big cuts there. But Stingray's really locking down, so I think, we might change like a vertical stack, try and open up the wide space, pull the defenders in tighter a bit more. But who knows? I'm sure they have a bag of tricks up their sleeve.
Definitely. And I think as well, when you're like not quite at the tournament yet, you're still playing in warm-up games, you always want to try different things out. So it's nice to be challenged by the other team and have your first plan not work, so then you can practice using your plan B and your plan C, so that when you get to the tournament, you know exactly how that's going to go.
Yeah, exactly. Because absolutely, when they get to Worlds, there's going to be a lot of tight defense like this.
Definitely. So got a big pull from Sprag here. Sorry, Kim. Got Lake with a disc. She's looking like she's going to be New Zealand's main handler for today. She's picking up pretty much every disc off a static starter off the pool. Centering to Parsons here, looking for her cutters. Not generating too much movement, but that's a nice inside break to Edwards. Looking upfield, not much is open. A nice around break, but just misses their target there. Got Spragg walking to pick up the disc with Kat Smith as a dump. Perkins as a primary cutter, immediately cuts deep, gets hooked off. Nice around throw to Mueller. Perkins cutting under again. That classic Alvin Mueller flick goes up. Great read there. I think that's Sullivan that caught that one.
Amazing.
Sullivan.
Really
That's a great grab.
yeah.
Yeah, great read, great grab. She's not the tallest girl on the team, but you don't need to be if you can read the disc well.
Yeah, it's a big floaty one. She's done well to pull her player, force her player to go early and then just read it into her hands.
Absolutely. Maybe helped by Kat Smith coming in and helping out there. So when you're on defense and you've got two offensive players you're trying to beat, your only option really is to go up early, because if you wait, one of them's going to get it first.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to go as early as you can and, try and make something happen. And I guess sometimes you just don't get it, but, that's all right.
I think that's not the worst outcome for New Zealand there. I think 2 of the Stingrays' goals so far have been from pack grabs, and if you're the defense and the offense is taking pack grabs to score, that's not the worst thing. Eventually you'll come down with a couple of blocks there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's all about building defensive pressure across the game, forcing your opponent to do just ever slightly lower and lower percentage throws.
Yeah. Got a big pull from Ewan there. Got the disc with New Zealand on the far side of the field, looking for the cutters, but they're a little bit static. And we've got another turn from New Zealand. Stifling defense from the Stingrays. We've got Mihaj picking up the disc, centering to Ma. Looking for Valancourt on the open side. Great upline cut from Ma. Looking deep. Not on. Beautiful around break to Prentice. Looking for the continue, but that's not there. Centering back to Ewan. Great up the line throw and go move from Prentice, and a wide open. Oh,
that is a great bid. That is pressure there.
It looked like she was wide open, but that defense closed up that gap really quickly at the end. That was tight.
Well, many of these Stingrays have, previous Australian representation experience, so I'm not surprised to see them handling this pressure well.
Yeah, definitely.
Prentice with the World Games.
Yeah.
Ewan with the blue bottles. 2 under-24 cycles ago. Caroline Ma, very recently at Beach Worlds for Australia. This is really, really a highlights package of a team.
Yeah, absolutely. So much talent here. Looks like the Stingrays have got a really good vibe. I know it's easier when you're winning, but they look to be getting around each other a lot and keeping their spirits really high and supporting each other. I think that's a big theme for this Stingrays team. They look like they're having the best time out there together. Got Kim Sprague again, ready to pull, just winding up her big backhand. Stingrays coming down on defense. Great pull from Sprague. We've got Huang picking up the disc, centering to Lake.
New Zealand in the split stack again.
Unlucky again, just a bit of an overthrow on that undercut there.
Yeah, New Zealand not looking very comfortable. Reeve with the disc. Finds Sprague up the line. Oh, crossfield flick.
That is a money throw.
And that is Dunmore again.
That is so veteran. That's one of my favorite things is when that's a really smart cut from Dunmore and a really smart throw from Sprague, because all of the New Zealand defenders were all like flooding that open side because that's where they expected that throw to go up to, and then Sprague just bended it around to the break side and Dunmore read it perfectly.
That's a beautiful shape.
That's a veteran move. That's incredible.
Oh, nice bump from Huang, but that's tight play. Stingrays looking really in control of this game early. That's all right. This is the challenge that New Zealand were after.
Yeah. Yeah, after having some relatively one-sided games throughout this tournament, it's good for them to have a bit of a challenge now.
Yeah, interesting just to think about like what the mental switch might be. Obviously, the Stingrays, having 2 extra years of eligibility and training camps is, obviously a large step up from a state under-22 team. So,
definitely.
a marked difference in competition.
Absolutely.
As Kat Smith launches a gigantic
ripper
pull.
backhand.
Oh.
Looks like Stingrays are coming down in a match, really tight match defense again. Swing to the sideline. Got a bit better movement from the New Zealand offense here. They're looking much stronger than they have in their last few points.
Yeah, they're doing a lot better job of pulling the extra Stingrays defenders out of the area.
Yeah.
It's a shame they look really good from there.
Yeah,
But
they were looking good.
yeah. I mean, that was disheartening for the New Zealand offense, but, that's the best they've looked in a couple of points. So they'll be looking to emulate that, I think. The disc comes in on the near sideline right in front of us. Sprague with the disc. And it's a bit of a miscue. You could see Australian Stingrays coming off the break side of that stack, but turning out of that cut just a little too early.
Yeah. It launches a big backhand hook.
Oh, what a great pickup.
Great pickup from New Zealand there.
Just out of the front.
Got half with a disc.
Oh!
And that's a great grab from Emma Menzies. That's some nice offense from New Zealand there.
Yeah. Shelby Harhoff, that's the captain. That's a tight window to put that throw into.
Yeah. It's good faith in your teammate to know they can chase that down and get it.
Just know your receivers.
Yeah. It's a beautiful backhand put and really nice read. Unlucky to not get that D there, but
Sally really close on that one.
Yeah. Way to not give up on that long cut there. Great high grab. Nice inside break as well, it looked like. Yeah, New Zealand looking a little bit stronger there. I think they might, at the start of the game, they were maybe a little bit intimidated by the Stingrays. They know that they're a really strong team and they've been training together for a long time. And in the past, the Stingrays have usually done quite well at Worlds, so they might have come into this game maybe a little bit intimidated because it looked like their offense is quite hesitant. Like their cutters are maybe not super confident with their cuts, and I think all they need to do is just like really commit to their cuts and run really hard in one direction and then really hard out again. I think they're just like dancing around a little bit too much at the moment.
Definitely. I mean, it's clear they've got the throwing skill to be hitting those windows, but when you're a little bit hesitant, a little bit nervous, that window gets even smaller in your mind, and throw has to be perfect. And
definitely,
Stingrays potentially in the heads of the New Zealand players, but That was a strong offense, and let's see what the New Zealand defense can bring this point.
Got a nice pull from number 13, Julia Ford. Got Mihaj picking it up with throwing to Karimar, back to Mihaj. Nice throw and go move up to Prentice. Looks like New Zealand's playing a zone at this point. Back to Mihaj. Nice break to the middle of the field to Ma. Looking to swing across to Kwa. Fakes that down the line, moves the cup a huge amount. Nice little pop to Ma. Prentice asking for that over the top throw. Sitting in space, we've got Valancourt with a disc now in the middle of the cup. Nice high release back end to Mihaj. Prentice out in space on the far side, but doesn't get hit. Got some nice throw and go moves with Mihaj and Ma in the middle of the field. And we've got a gainer to the sideline. Beautiful break back to the middle into Yuen. Swinging over to Kwara on the sideline. Nice high release back end back to the middle to Ma. Stingrays moving it really nicely through this zone. In the middle with Prentice. Back to the sideline again. Prentice has a nice throw and go move, but I reckon Mihaj is going to center it with that flick.
That is discipline.
Beautiful. And a beautiful throw from Ma to Prentice in the end zone. That is textbook zone offense from the Stingrays there. Nobody held the disc for more than a couple of seconds, and I honestly think that quick disc movement is the way to beat pretty much any zone.
I think it's absolutely right. I think New Zealand are quite smart to come out here in a zone, just sort of change the pace, throw something different at the Stingrays. You know, at the very, that's the passes the Stingrays have thrown all game. That was sort of, as much as it was clinical and disciplined zone offense, at the very least it was slower. There were much more passes that had to be made than their previous, early deep shots.
Yeah.
So
the more passes you make them throw, the more opportunities you have for a D. So, yeah, I think that's a good move from New Zealand, but Stingrays just too good on that one there.
Yeah, it definitely helped, but, Mihaj with that around break just...
Yeah, that lefty on the sideline.
Absolutely.
That's a winner.
Right, releasing that pressure every time, and then Kwa with a high release back into the center.
Yeah.
Even when New Zealand looked like they had them where they wanted them on that sideline with that three-lady cup and a mark setup, that's where you want to build that pressure in a zone like this, but the throwers can just break out of it.
Yeah, that's some beautiful around forehand breaks from Mihaj there. We've got Mueller with a big backhand pull now. Got Huang catching the pull, centering to Lake, looking upfield, a nice swing to Parsons. Nice tight defense again from the Stingrays, looking back to center to Lake. Looking upfield, not much open at the moment. Oh, threads the needle through to the cutter there.
This is the Stingrays looking for that space and getting the defenses in the space.
Yeah. Mercer throws back to Lake in the middle. Nice around through to the sideline. Cutters are getting a little bit stagnant here. Nice under though. Good gainer from New Zealand there.
Edwards with the disc on the sideline.
Lake cuts up the line. Beautiful up the line throw to Lake. A deep shot.
Oh, Dunwell in the air.
Oh my God. She's a clutch player. That was incredible.
Both sides of the disc just unstoppable in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the composure to just run it up to the front of the end zone and just get it moving quickly. Got it with Mueller in the sideline, back to Dunwell. Looking to center to Smith.
Smith with a drop.
Unlucky drop there.
That's tough. That was a hard grab, close to the bottom, but here we go. Stingrays back on defense again.
Got Parsons with a disc.
Parsons on the mark too.
Nice. Parsons on Parsons. Nice around backhand to Mercer. Now on the sideline with Chong.
Dunwell with a handwork. That is unbelievable.
She is just having a great day today.
She's absolutely stamped herself.
She doesn't even look excited. She's like, this is a regular day for her. Just bootsing everyone. Got Vina with a disc on the sideline. Big high release, lefty over the stack. Back to Mueller.
She's got O'Neill going deep.
O'Neill, such a fast cutter. That's a great rundown. Beautiful flick from Mueller. Looking for Parsons. A nice centering goal to Sophie Taylor. I think, so Mueller's put up a couple of flick hugs in this game, and both of them have been, I think they've both come off, but they've been like quite high in the air, ended up with a pack grab, but that flick there was beautiful. It was nice and flat out into space. O'Neill could just easily run onto it, and there was no way the defense was getting there.
Yeah, O'Neill's an extremely experienced player. She played the Stingrays 2 cycles ago, and then the Blue Bottles, and now she's back on the Stingrays, and she has the speed, and I think this shot just comes early enough. It's still that beautiful outside in shape.
Yeah, perfect.
Easy read from O'Neill, and then just the discipline here, not to look for the easy, quick one to Parsons.
Yeah. It's always tough to throw to people that are streaming past you. So I think that was a really good cut from Parsons to draw the defenders over to that open side, and then O'Neill could just throw a nice backhand to the center of the field.
Pulls the mark around, made that break a little easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's classic team play.
Yep, definitely. So we're at half here, I think. We've got the score is 8-2 to the Stingrays. Stingrays just looking really, really strong at the moment. I think this is really good signs for their campaign at the World Under-24 Championships that are going to be in Perth in January. They're looking really strong, so I'm pretty excited to see what they can do against the best countries in the world.
Yeah, I know the Stingrays are coming in this campaign with high hopes. They're really, really looking to push it. The Stingrays last time were in the bronze medal game. Came away with a disappointing result, but
yeah, that's still raw. Still raw.
Sorry to do that to you, but they're a quality team and they're looking to absolutely just take it.
Yeah.
Right? They won't settle for anything less than a medal this time around.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Looking really strong so far.
What do you say as the New Zealand coach to your team here? What are you looking for them out of this in this second half?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I think when you've got a bit of a one-sided scoreline, it's always hard to rally your team, especially at half-time when there's a bit of a break. But I think that now that the score is 8-2, I think they just have absolutely nothing to lose in this game. So what I think I would like to see from New Zealand is using their long game a little bit more. I think at the moment the Stingrays are locking down their undercuts really well and locking down on their handlers, and if they don't start using that long game, the Stingrays are just not even going to bother defending the longs and just lock down even more on those unders. So I think in order to open up the underspace more, they need to use the deep space so that the Stingrays start defending that a bit more, and then getting the unders will be a bit easier. But I think at the moment they're looking too much for those conservative undershots, and I think, yeah, when the score's 8-2, you have nothing to lose. You've got to try something different. So yeah, I think I'd like to see them put up a few more long throws. They've got strong throwers and strong receivers. They're just it's not really, these undercuts are not really working out for them at the moment.
Yeah, it's difficult after, you have a hard time and then you sort of, I guess, retreat into your shell a little bit, sort of cool down, and as much as you might think, oh, we need to be playing conservatively, we can't be turning it over, absolutely, like, that takes away a big weapon. You know,
definitely.
You're absolutely right. If Australia's not afraid of the deep game, then they can just go hard on the unders.
Yeah.
I think, all New Zealand might have to do is keep Dunmore out of that space.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty tough to beat in the air.
Yeah.
As we can see in this highlights package, there's a lot of highlights of Dunmore taking pack grabs in the end zone.
Yeah. That's a highlight I would watch over and over again. And
absolutely. Reminiscent of the Australian Beach Ultimate Championships, the #1 player in the highlight reel was about 4 highlights from Dunmore in a row. She's just a highlights package all on her own.
I'd pick her on my team.
I would absolutely pick her on my team.
All right. I'm Michelle Phillips, the coach of the Stingrays. I'm looking to throw a bunch of basically experimental defensive sets of the New Zealand team here. At this point in the game, you're quite in command here and you want to use this opportunity to test things out. I think you have enough of a buffer that you're not worried about losing the game, or you can sort of seek to stretch yourself and, try out, maybe a couple of weird zones that you're looking at employing in specific situations. This is a brilliant opportunity for developing yourselves as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we'll see if this, I think so far the Stingrays have only played match defense. I think we've seen a bit of straight up force and a lot of locking down those unders. So we'll see if Stingrays will maybe come out in a zone or some different kind of defense here to just change things up a little bit.
Yes. All right, here we go, coming out again. New Zealand ready on the line.
I think we've got Stingrays on defense here, coming out of half. Got Reeve with the pull. It's going to be a big one, feeling it.
Reeve also preparing to represent Australia next year at the Under-20 World Championships. Her second Under-20 World Championships next year.
Another incredible young talent.
Recently was the MVP of Division 1 at Club Nationals this year.
Yeah, she was incredible at that tournament. Unbeatable. Got Lee catching the pull. Oh, an unlucky drop from Huang there. That was a bit of a bullet to the chest. pretty difficult to catch those ones. We've got Perkins with the disc now. Looking for a dump. Looking upfield now. Nice around break. Oh, and a bit of a bobble in the end zone, but we get there in the end.
Rosewayne claws that in. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Stingers, I think they're, I guess that's a bit of a gift for them.
Yeah.
But looking to, if I'm man, I'm looking to improve on that, closing out in that end zone space. Previously had a little bit of an issue about it, and, it wasn't the cleanest, but I guess Rosewayne's just too good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so far it looks like when the Stingrays get a block, their first look is to transition quickly. So I think they trust that every single player on this team is a good thrower. So they just want whoever's closest to the disc to just pick it up and move it quickly. And I think New Zealand's having a hard time getting their defense back on the Stingrays after they have that turnover.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely true. I think Australia, maybe slightly the athletic edge, but not a lot. But I think that's just that mental game. They believe that their block is coming, and they're absolutely ready for that offense,
absolutely.
even well before it happens.
Yeah, totally.
Another ripper from Sprague.
Got Lee catching the ball again. Looking to send it to Huang, but looks her off. Got a nice undercut there from Edwards with a disc in the middle now. Another nice undercut from Ing. Beautiful up the line. Oh! An incredible layout D from Prentice. Looks like she doesn't even care. Does that every day of the week.
That's focus.
That was a money. Let's look at this replay. Oh my God, that's so good.
Wow.
What an incredible player. She's phenomenal. But Mihat to the disc now, centering it to Zalams. Looking to Sprague on the sideline. Let's rip a flick. Got Valancourt getting up huge in the air. Oh, great chase down from Ma. Whoa. Oh boy, this point was just full of highlights.
That's so difficult. New Zealand putting that pressure on, forcing the Stingrays to be making those amazing plays, but they're just too good. They're just coming up with that, Sprague looking for that university connection. Sprague and Valancourt have played together at a university for years now, so that's a tried and true. And Valancourt just going up early and strong.
Yeah, that was a great read, great grab.
An easy goal.
Easy goal. You might have to work pretty hard for it, but that was a great chase down. Just pretty pleased with that one. I think this just shows that even though so far the Stingrays have looked pretty clinical, they can also come out with huge plays when it comes down to it. This block from Prentice is ridiculous. That up the line cut looked so open. Like if I had the disc, I would have absolutely thrown that, but Prentice just making that clutch play.
Yeah, Edwards on the receiving end of that, has been one of their big, strong receivers. She's been doing a good work for them, but that's tough. Australia really tightening the screws.
Yeah, absolutely.
Smith with the pull. Huge.
Beautiful pull from Smith there. Got a centering pass here. Looking for this up the line cut. Nice inside high release break. That was cheeky. Got the disc with forward here. Looking up to...
Oh, you've got to look at that. That's a shot.
Beautiful up to Gore's great grab outside the end zone.
Nice.
Nice call from Emma Menzies. That's a nice offense by New Zealand there.
Yeah, it looked a little, the Stingrays doing a great job of clogging those cutting lanes early in the space, but that leaves players, free deep, and
absolutely
doing a great job to abuse that and not let the Stingrays sort of get back into their comfort zone and get back on a defense. Keeping it moving, keep threatening, and then just a quick little finish.
I think New Zealand went with a bit more confidence in their offense at that point there. Their cuts looked really strong. They got open by quite a few meters compared to in their last points when they've tried cutting. They've only been able to go open by a really small margin. So I think hopefully their cutting will look a little bit more confident from now on, now that they've seen what they can do.
Yeah, and with an extra goal under the belt here, they've got the faith that they can do it. I guess it's just a game of percentages. There's it's really tough to know that you're playing pretty well. A lot of things are going, and then just screamer layout blocks and huge guys. If that's what it takes to stop your offense.
Yeah, exactly. There's not much you can do about that.
Yeah. New Zealand on defense again here. Interesting to see potentially show that zone again or maybe another look.
Yeah, yeah. They even got to do something to slow down the Stingrays' long game.
100%.
Got forward with a big pull here. Lim catching the pull, looking to acquire on the sideline. Got WA teammates here. There are only 2 WA girls on the Stingrays. New Zealand does come down with the zone. Looking a little bit trapped in the sideline, getting it out to Reeve. Nice centering pass. We've got it back to Kai in the middle. Reeve's pretty open on the sideline, but gets looked off. Got it with Prentice now in the middle. Nice thread through the cup to Kai. Back to Prentice. Beautiful over-the-top throw from Prentice. Working it really well through this zone.
Prentice getting every other at the moment.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Finds Wang.
Oh, unlucky though. Nice D from New Zealand. They read that really well.
All right, they've got a shot here now. Looking for a break.
Oh, nearly for a max there.
Reeve lurking in that deep space.
We've got Menzies with the disc now looking for her dump, Boniface. Nice underpass. Oh, nearly gets picked off by Reeve, but great strong cutting there to go through the disc. Young with the disc now. Reeve with a bit of a poach in the lane there. Get it moving quick. We've got Reeve and Kai working together. Looking to center it here. Got Prentice popping through. They're going to want to keep this disc moving. Nice centering disc to Kai. Back to Reeve on the sideline. Nice throw through there. Back to Reeve. Oh, a beautiful thread. Oh, nice see from New Zealand. That was a great spot, great shot, unlucky drop.
Yeah, Reeve looking for a window a little earlier, but
yeah,
that's all right. This zone defense is working much better than the match against
definitely.
Stingrays.
Got Boniface with a disc now in the center of the front of the center of the end zone. Got a strong undercut, but it's defended well by Reeve. Looking for the dump.
Reeve looking in that space still, making
Yeah,
stuff hard. Oh,
nice pick off by Prentice.
back to Ruiz. Pops it in.
Beautiful. Oh, travel call looks like.
Yeah. Ruiz ran that into the end zone, didn't quite take it back out before she threw the goal.
Stingrays are going to want to be patient here, I think. Got a lot of people streaming past the disc here. Oh, unlucky. Good defense from New Zealand, though. So got forward with a disc here. Yep. On the sideline. Nice big mark.
Oh, huge.
Hopefully the Stingrays can just work this one in here nice and easy. We've got Kai with the disc, looking ISO for Prentice. Nice high release back end. I love that throw initiated throw to an ISO in the end zone. That's money. Can't do much about that when you're on D.
Exactly. The only thing, New Zealand has to sort of know that it's coming and pull a player off, and then there's someone free on the break side, and very, very difficult to do, And if you've got an athlete like Prentice.
Yeah. She's pretty hard to stop no matter how many defenders you put on her.
Stingrays doing a lot of lane poaching. They're really feeling comfortable coming off their players and clogging up that space. It's really making it hard for New Zealand to generate good undercuts.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really smart play from the Stingrays there. They've seen that New Zealand haven't used their long game that much, and so they know that they can afford to take those a couple of extra seconds after their players started cutting deep to just hang around in that underspace, and they know that they're not going to get burnt by that deep cut.
Yeah. And also backing the athleticism of their players to, get a bit on that. It's, the far break side defender in that horizontal stack's got a bit on it, can see that coming.
Yeah.
Time to run it down.
Yeah. I think as well when you have that understanding, the collective understanding in your team that you're going to help each other on defense, it works so much better because if you know that what you want to do is poach in that underspace for a couple of seconds, then you know that your teammate's going to help you deep if your player ends up going deep. So that's a good collective understanding from the Stingrays there.
Great teamwork. Mueller with a pull.
Got number 7, Hoang with a disc, centering to Lake. Nice undercut from Ing. Looking upfield. Another beautiful undercut from Mercer. New Zealand looking a little bit better on their offense here. Another nice under Hoang.
Shoots.
Beautiful deep shot, goal caught by Megan Edwards. It's definitely one of their stronger cutters, and I think that's what New Zealand's got to keep doing. If they can hit a couple of those unders and then put up a deep shot, I think they'll end up being much better than if they just keep trying to hit unders over and over, because the Stingrays are really locking down on those unders.
Yeah, I think the much more viable threat of those deep shots really, made the Stingrays play honest and
Yeah,
made
definitely.
them commit to covering those deeps, opening up that space.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Each one of those those free unders that came off was preceded by like a big threatening deep cut.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to pull your defender around.
Yeah.
Got to be threatening both ways.
Yeah.
Ideally in every direction.
That's the aim. Got New Zealand coming out on D here. We'll see if they put in another zone. I reckon they might, because it worked pretty well for them last point.
Yeah, it's forcing the Stingrays to throw a lot of throws and a lot of harder throws.
Yeah, those big around breaks and over the top of the cup high release throws.
And it was interesting last time. There was a bit, the wall was a bit looser and there was a bit more poach on that far handler.
Yeah.
Give him a bit more bid on that over the top.
Yeah, for sure.
Pull in a floaty one. But Ma and Mihash, going behind the disc here.
Yeah, it looks like we've got this cup zone back in.
Goes around to Ewan. Finds Valancourt. Finds Ruiz. Valancourt again. Classic university connection there. Back to Ewan on the sideline. Finds Ma around. And that's what New Zealand are looking for, to force that slightly harder throw.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think New Zealand did a really good job there of trapping the Stingrays on the sideline and forcing them into that tight space there. Got Parsons with the disc. Nice throw down the sideline.
Oh,
cross end zone played. Beautiful read by New Zealand there.
Wow.
Good.
Shelby Harhoff with a goal. Really strong take. There are a lot of players in that area, so
yeah, definitely.
She's done well to hold that space.
I'm a big fan of that cross end zone look. I think especially when you're at the front corner of the end zone like that, a lot of teams will try and cram it in that front corner and all the defense knows that's where you want it. But if you can just shoot it across to the break side with that nice like bladey flick, I think that's a really nice look there. Even though it was a contested grab, I think that's what they needed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably dropped a little bit shorter than she was expecting. I think she wanted that to go all the way over the stack and attack that break side space. Ma putting a lot of pressure on there, but not enough to get that disc back.
Yeah. It's got a timeout called here.
Yeah, I was just testing the...
Yeah, all right. This is probably... Don't quite know who called this one, but my money's on Australia. Haven't called this one, because... New Zealand's looking better.
Yeah,
they're looking like they're coming back in this game. They've scored a couple goals in a row. They're getting blocks now. And, Australia would want to be like, just stop that momentum, right?
Yeah.
Stop what they're doing and then come out and get back into their groove, take control of the game again and make New Zealand adjust to what they're doing.
Absolutely. I think early in this game, the Stingrays came out really clinical, and I think sometimes when a team gets up early in the game, they can be tempted to take a few more of those riskier shots because they've got enough of a buffer that it's okay if they don't work out. But I think especially because this is a practice game for both of these teams, what the Stingrays are going to want to do here is really play clinical throughout the rest of this game and close it out and know that they can still play with composure and play that clinical classic Stingrays offense even when they're up by a lot in the game, and it's not really a crucial game for them.
For sure. I think the Stingrays are working really hard on their mental strength through this, and this will be a really interesting challenge to them. It's always something that you come up against at tournaments, and it can be hard if you're playing a team that you're quite up on, to just sort of get loose and let it drift. But, that skill, that mental focus of bringing that and, playing conservatively, playing to your structure, only looking for exactly what's good. Doing what's good, not what's easy. That's a skill, that's a mental muscle that you can train, and that's what the Stingrays are going to be looking to pull out of these last few points.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's really important is looking at the process in a game rather than the outcome. So the outcome for the Stingrays might be that they get a point, but if their process is that it was from risky throws and like a bit of those throws that they don't really want to be throwing, I think that's not really a win for them, but a win for them is like playing to their structures and playing clinical and just focusing on that process of the way that they want to play and not straying away from that.
I absolutely agree. Michelle Phillips, Bree Edgar and Sarah Brereton, the coaching staff of the Stingrays, there's no way they will let them get away with any sort of false positives like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll be watching them like hawks.
Yeah. So got Huang with the pull here. Big backhand pull. That's beautiful. That's going into the wind. That's quite a lot of distance going in this direction.
Mueller picks it up, finds Smith. Gets around to O'Neill, who launches a flick. Finds Taylor, back to Smith. And then Dunmore for their easy goal.
That's that clinical offense that we wanted to see. I think that's exactly what the Stingrays wanted there. A nice, quick offensive point where all the throws are just easy.
Yeah, and I think they've improved towards that end zone attack at the end. They still had that, centering, clearing, hit that first cut and hit that big long option to start. But then their end zone offense came with a clue.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a beautiful shot from O'Neill.
Big ups from Sophie Taylor here.
Oh.
Probably unnecessary, but always better to make sure of it.
Could have used 2 hands, but you know.
Yeah.
Ooh. And Dummel always around.
Yeah. Stingrays are just looking really strong and powerful and really athletic here. You can tell they've definitely been training really hard.
Yes, I've seen some of my local Stingrays, doing a few pods and running around a few sprint sessions. I joined in and regretted it, but
Tough times.
Tough times.
It's pretty tough to be a Stingray.
Can only imagine.
Big pull from Kwa here. Got late catching the disc. Centering to Hoang. Looking upfield. We've got a nice undercut from him. Opening in a lot of space there. Looking upfield. Nothing's open. Oh, now I've got another undercut.
Mercer with a great turn.
Yeah. This offense looking a little bit better from New Zealand here. Nice around throw. Another great grab from him.
Working hard in this underspace.
Definitely. Oh, an unlucky turn there from New Zealand.
Stingray's making that window tight.
Yeah.
Sprague goes around to Lim. Just over the head of Zalams.
Big ups, but couldn't quite get there. Got Hank picking up the disc again. Looking for Leak as a dump. Sprague playing great defense on that dump there. Oh, Stingray's nearly with the block, but not quite. A huge bid from Lake, but can't quite get there.
Stingray's looking to clean up outside the end zone here. Oh, Sprague shoots long. And that's croc to croc.
Big ups from Prentice.
That'll work.
Croc to croc. What more could you want?
Look, when you need to get it done and when you're, the Stingrays are looking to be clinical and finish things off here, and sometimes your best player throws to your other best player, and that's good stuff.
Yep, that is good stuff.
All right. New Zealand, they're here, though. Positives to take away from that. The Stingrays aren't invincible here. Couple of miscues, couple of missed throws.
Yep.
New Zealand just having a really hard time. I think the pressure in that dump space is showing. There's a few throws that, we've seen them execute over and over again. They just couldn't make it happen. And Prentice just too tall.
Just happy with that throw. That's a good trust throw from Sprague there, I think. So I think we've got another timeout here called maybe from New Zealand.
Don't use them, you lose them.
Yeah, exactly.
13-5. This has been a dominant performance by the Stingrays thus far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look like they're having a great time. I mean, the weekend of all your best friends doing the sport that you love.
What more could you want?
Exactly. And it's been beautiful weather largely.
Yeah.
A little bit windy, but, sunny skies here
Yeah.
in Sydney. All right, all smiles in the New Zealand camp. I think after this they'll go back to playing the state under-22 teams and
looking really strong in that tournament.
Exactly, and they've got the final day of that is tomorrow. You can catch the live stream on the Ultimate Australia page.
We'll be here.
There's lots of state versus state games been going on, a bit of footage in New Zealand, and all the finals coming tomorrow in the men's, women's, and mixed divisions.
Yeah, it's going to be a big day of really exciting Frisbee. I think in terms of what New Zealand can take out of this game as well, I know that it's always like nice and confidence boosting to win in the lead up to a tournament, but I always say that you learn more from your losses than your wins. And so I think, especially because this game's filmed, they can go back and watch it later and there'll be so many things for them to work on and they'll be so much better at the tournament because of it.
Absolutely. Footage is just incredibly invaluable. You know, I've been watching this game quite closely, and, you know, I can only see so many players at a time, but
Yeah.
you could just watch footage 10 times.
Yeah, exactly. Got another big pull from Mueller here. Got Lee catching, centering past their Huang. Looking for the cut spot. They're not really coming. Oh, I've got Mercer with a big under on the
That's a
opposite
nice
sideline.
flood. Oh,
Looking for the long one, but gets shut down. Another nice under here. But not too many continuation cuts happening. New Zealand getting a bit stagnant. Huang looking for the around, but it doesn't come. Tries to cut up the line, but it gets shut down by the Stingrays.
Oh.
That's really, really tight dump D from the Stingrays there.
Force that backwards throw. It's very uncomfortable, and it just wasn't good enough to reel that one in.
Yeah.
Stingrays looking to put it in clinically here.
Oh, beautiful inside flick. I think that's of Mueller and Kat Smith. I think their two favourite throws are inside flick breaks and flick hucks. Yeah, we've got Sophie Taylor with a nice grab there in the end zone.
There's the two of the Queensland Stingrays connecting.
Yeah.
I think probably looking to use a lot of those, you know, Queensland to Queensland connections, or New South Wales to New South Wales, or, you know, a lot of these players play together in their home clubs.
Yep.
So those, you know, individual player connections are absolutely vital in a, you know, Worlds campaign in a country as separate as Australia. So you have to find connections we get, because time together, you know, in this colossal country is hard to get.
So hard. Yeah.
Oh.
I think as well, like the more time you spend playing with someone, you know exactly what they want. So I think, because Taylor obviously knows Mueller so well, she would know that with that forehand force on, the one thing that she wants is that low release inside flick. So that's exactly what Taylor got for.
Yeah.
Got Kwa ready for the pull here. Big backhand goes up.
Stingray's been pulling very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Got Ford picking up the disc. Centering pass here to a nice undercut, and nearly gets picked off by Kwa. Back to Ford on the sideline. Got a good undercut from Menzies, but gets looked off, and now get the around break. And that big shot goes up. I think that's exactly what we want from New Zealand. That's a great throw, just outside the end zone. We've got Young with a disc. Looking for a cutters, but it's a little bit messy at the moment. If she can just connect with one of her handlers. And that's a really good end zone D from the Stingrays. That's tough.
Yeah, New Zealand not quite getting in that structure as soon as they needed.
Bit of confusion here. I think Yuen established her pivot and then regretted it. But, nearly a Callahan there. Back to Yuen on the sideline to Ma. Beautiful leading pass down the line to Ruiz.
Nice.
Looking to center to Yuen. Across the Zalams. Oh, an unlucky miscue. I think I wasn't quite expecting that there, but Zalams wanted that throw and go move.
Wanted to move the disc as fast as you could.
Yeah.
You know, it's been working well so far, but
yeah,
a little too fast.
Nice around break, but an unfortunate drop there. Got Kwai with a disc to Ruiz. Oh, incredible hand block there. That's clutch. Just what they needed from forward. That was amazing. New Zealand looking to work these unders again. Nice around break.
Ford looking off that initial deep shot.
Yeah. I want to see her put that.
Oh. That was very lucky from New Zealand.
Got a nice under here. Oh, looking for that downline hug, but just goes out of bounds. So it's really tough. I think those hugs to a cutter that's in the same third are always really difficult, because you've got such a tight window to throw it into.
Yeah, it's got it, and you know, it's pretty risky because it has to be a perfect throw. It has to have the right edge to come back into where the receiver is, and if it doesn't, it comes right back where it was. You know?
Exactly.
As Mihas to the disc, beautiful break.
Yeah, the
Finds
lefty
Ma
flick
with
again.
a bounce.
That's an incredible thread.
Stingray's putting on a throwing clinic here.
Absolutely. There were so many cutters and defenders all in the end zone there. How did Muth just read that through right in the middle of all of them? That was incredible.
Ma recently one of the female MVPs of Australian mixed nationals.
Yeah.
Just a pleasure to play with.
She's an incredibly talented player. I think as well she's also really smart. Like on the field, I don't know anyone else that would think to thread that through there, but she knows that she can do it, and she has that excellent vision that not many other people have.
Yep. Ruiz completely free at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a money shot. So a bit of a one-sided game here, but I think what the reason that both teams are here is so they can get practice before Worlds. That's the big show. That's what they're all working towards, and I think it's always good to have a really good, hard-fought game. Only a month away from the tournament, so I think both teams are going to go away and they'll have things to work on from this game, and then they'll be coming out even stronger at Under 24 Worlds.
Absolutely. This is what New Zealand wanted. You know, they wanted to come up against the best and, you know, play against a really, really like high-level pressure, the kind that they're going to see at the championship. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think the Stingrays absolutely brought it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I think Stingrays showed why they're going to be one of the best teams in the world, I would say. Did pretty well last year, didn't quite get there. I think they're going to go one or maybe a few better this year. They're looking really strong and really clinical.
Yeah, and this has been great. I mean, you know, there's a whole bunch of really, really young players here. You know, many women, they could be Stingrays in the future. You know, we've got under 22 players, and there's many of them, you know, building and developing on their state teams. But,
Definitely.
you know, there aren't any Stingrays on the state teams because they had a training camp this weekend, so they weren't free to play the tournament. But, you know, that opens up a lot of spots for developing players across the states, gives them the chance to step up and play with your local representative teams and, you know, hopefully earn a spot on this national team in the future.
Yeah, under 22s is a really good stepping stone. That's the reason why the AFDA brought this tournament in, is to have some kind of like high-level competition for these under 22 players that are trying to work towards under 24 team selection. So I think this is really good for Youth Ultimate in Australia. And this game, I think, has showed how strong women's Youth Ultimate is in Australia, especially at the under 24 age. There's so many talented players on this team, and they were super clinical all day. So yeah, they're gonna look really strong for the tournament. I'm really excited to watch them play there.
Absolutely. I think they're just going to, you know, play to their ability and just push the best teams in the world. If they play like they did today, you know, score with that sort of efficiency, you know, make those huge plays, no doubt that they'll come away with a satisfying result.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, also seeing those huge plays is really promising, because it's all well and good to play nice clinical offense when you're winning quite easily, but to know that even in a one-sided game, they've got that guts and the courage to pull out those huge plays like that up-line layout block from Prentice and those huge end-zone grabs from Dunmore. You know that in those tight games at Worlds, they're going to be able to get it done.
Yeah. You know, this is just a huge block from Dunmore. Like, those sorts of plays, like, you know, at a World Championships, you have to have them. You know, the windows to get blocks are so small, and, you know, the defense is so tight. Everything has to be right on. So their ability to make those huge plays here means they can turn it on when they need it. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, so we're going to wrap it up here. We've got this highlights reel rolling. It's been Jodie Palmer and Rob Storm with you here today. Hopefully you'll join us back again tomorrow for the finals of the Australian Under-22 Ultimate Championships.
It's been a pleasure.
Alti.tv